All right, it is day 54. Welcome back. As usual, it's me, Brendan, and I make a video every day for the time being, and I am losing 80 pounds. Today is a chill one. We're very relaxed today because it's kind of a recovery lift day. I woke up very early today, like full disclosure, like fell asleep at 3, woke up at like 7, with crazy pain in my lower back. Closer to my hips. It's not like back pain. I'm pretty good at identifying that. I've had a good deal of back. I've injured my back a few times, so I know when that is causing a problem. I think, honestly, I think I just slept in a really weird position, and it hurt. Because as soon as I started kind of moving around and trying to sleep in a better position, it kind of subsided a little bit. But the pain in my hips sort of made my entire body feel very stiff and weak. But today was a lift day. I knew I wasn't gonna be able to do much of the gym today. I could kind of feel it, and I've been really burning the candle at both ends this week. So I didn't want to not go to the gym. I didn't want to go, oh, you'll rest or maybe just go for a run or just stretch. I wanted to do my lifts, but I wanted to do them very light. I wanted to do a sort of I like like lifting in a recovery lift. I like doing all my regular lifts, but super slow, super low weight. I don't know if any of this is stuff that people do. It's just something I found that feels good when I feel like I'm stiff or injured. Is going through all my ordinary lifts as if I were doing them in a normal way, but just lowering the weight tremendously. I felt weak. I felt, I haven't been sleeping again. As I said, I've been really playing with God here. And today I just knew it. I just knew I think and I guess it's time to ask, right? Are my chickens coming to roost when it comes to lifting and eating this many calories every day and sleeping very poorly? Am I finally hitting the point where it's like, okay, you're around a 2 plate squat, you're around a 2 plate deadlift? Am I at the point now where it's like, hey, you can't be under eating, like in terms of to lose weight and expect the weights to your lower body lifts go up 10 pounds every week? And expect to get away with not sleeping enough, and expect to get away with not having an always my diet isn't always perfect. I'm never eating, fast food or something. That's not what I mean. What I mean is I'm not always nailing my protein. I'm not always nailing my carbohydrates. So it's very possible that's happening. This could be a culminative sort of backlash. It could be the result of 2 weeks of not doing something right. I try not to think about it too much. Next week is a new week, a new lifting week. But today I felt it. I knew. I knew if I tried to muscle my way through today, I would have 100% hurt myself. I started the day hurt and I didn't even do anything. So I think it's good to have days like this. It's good to be measured. But of course, I also need to be cautious, right? Because I think like anyone, I think there's also the potential that when you feel this way and you lower all the dials down and you chill on all of your routines, it could also be the sign that you're starting to kind of get lax and ease up on the discipline and ease up on the routine. So I have to be very cautious of that as well. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to go to the gym and lift and do what was technically my lift for the day, but just lower all the weights dramatically. I didn't think about it. I wasn't there very long. I didn't do any math. I just went, put a weight on the bar that I felt was like okay, and then I did that. And then I left. Still did my bike and all that. But we'll go through the lifts now. Nothing crazy, nothing impressive. But it's been a long week. It's been a long week. So it's we got to take our victories where they happen. It's just I have to pay mind and be certain that it doesn't continue next week or the following week. And hopefully Monday we come back big and strong and feeling, significantly better. Let me see if I can find the lift. Here we are. Yeah, and otherwise it's like we're going to look at this lift. It's going to be a goddamn what even happened today. Oh yeah, this is funny. All right, let's get into it. The first overhead press is it's just completely blurred, so I really killed that too. Yeah, all over the map with these. I'm not even sure if these numbers are right, if we're being perfectly honest. This is so I'm leaving it. I look skinny, right, when I'm blurry. I like that. Maybe not skinny. All right. I started high at 100. I was like, I can't do this shit. I dropped it down to 95, 85. I'm not even sure how accurate all these numbers are, but I was just kind of playing with the bar. I wanted to make sure I could go through all of the motions and sort of feel it and take it very slow. I like if I feel a weirdness in my lower back, I like to sort of medicating myself with like a very low weight deadlift. Like that's kind of what I've always found was kind of nice for me. Obviously outside of when I was like genuinely severely injured. But yeah, I didn't do anything crazy. I didn't do anything too crazy, and it felt fine. I'm trying. It's also a way of not getting down on myself because if I went in there and I somehow mustered the energy to be like, we're gonna crush, I wouldn't have been able to get the weight up, and then all of that weight I put on the day would have been significantly more frustrating for me. And I just have too much to do on a daily basis, so it's like you gotta walk the tightrope as best you can. Yeah, I mean, here we have like I think 65 pounds, and even that felt heavy, man. And it wasn't a day where everything felt heavy, but as soon as I started lifting, it really dawned on me how weak I felt. Extremely weak. I felt extremely weak today. Like even just unracking the deadlifts, I was like, what the fuck is this? But yeah, 3 sets of 10, 135. I didn't bother trying to do anything else. I was like, you know what? My back is hurting. My hips feel really weird. I feel very stiff. Let's just. I went as slow as I could. I tried to focus on form best I could. Even that though felt taxing on an intellect like a neurological level. And I just just did this chill deadlifts, trying to do my best, trying to see if I could feel anything, on my back, try to feel it. Everything, this felt great. It kind of felt, therapeutic doing this for my hip. My hip certainly felt much better after. I really do think I just slept in like some weird fucked up isosceles triangle position. I'm just realizing I'm covering this. Sorry, folks. I definitely slept in just some really insane, my right ankle was behind my left ear type position. But these are fine, right? I mean, I went in there, I did them, and obviously this weight is so light that I don't even know if I'm deadlifting it well. Like I can't, like it's not enough for me to even realize what's going on really. But I tried to just go super slow. And yeah, next week we gotta do full force, right? This was a weird week lift wise. I had a bad lift 2 days ago, and I think the week started doing a 2 plate deadlift, right? We started with a nice record lift for this, cycle. That felt great, and felt easy, for all intents and purposes. But maybe I'm hitting a bit of a wall. Maybe there are a lot of things happening, but I try not to think about it. We won't change anything. We'll go in Monday and we'll take it from there. We'll see where we're at. But I know doing this will leave me feeling far better than doing nothing. I could have gone, hey, maybe it's time. You've been doing this for almost, almost 60 videos straight, never miss a day at the gym, going for runs, doing your best with everything. Maybe it's time to take a week or a couple days. And it's like, I don't think that's accurate. I don't think I'm actually doing that much. It may be a lot for me, but I think that I could set the bar higher for myself, if that's fair. Even the curls I did, I was like, let's do like an actual proper 3 sets of curls for the first time in a month. Lower the weight dramatically to something that's, I could whip this thing through, I could javelin this thing through the wall, but let's do it super slow, super clean, try to feel it in my biceps as much as possible. And it felt great. It felt really good. As I said, felt very therapeutic, and I kind of needed it today. I don't think I couldn't muster the energy to do anything at a high level today. And I have to fix my sleep. I mean, I think that, I'm sure a lot of you watching who are like very good at this stuff, some of the people that leave comments about what I should do, what I shouldn't do, I am aware that sleeping is more important than literally anything else I'm doing. Sleeping poorly invalidates low calories very often. I've also been quite stressed, which you absolutely have physiological reactions to stress that include weight gain and impeding your ability to lose weight. But all of these things are things that I can only do so much. So, but they will improve over time, right? If you're in a state where you're constantly overly stressed and not sleeping and you can't do anything about it, something in your life needs to be restructured, right? But it's a process. I'm going through it. I do think I'm beginning to see some changes in my body when it comes to weight loss, if I may point it out, especially around my, like the fat that gathers in my back. My love handles towards the back of my body, which are always they're kind of the first place I really gain weight. I'm definitely noticing that area is smaller, which is nice. I can notice that a little bit. That's starting to shrink down a little bit, which is nice. Tell me I just left me walking away. Very good, superb. And then I remember I have a phone, and I did my bike, did my 15 minutes. Even that was a goddamn chore. I was like, am I even gonna? What am I even? What's happening? This week has been a bit of a bit of a bummer. It's been pretty low volume, pretty low by my standards. It's been about as low as I can get in every capacity, but all I can do is analyze what's causing this to occur and what I can actually do to fix it now, and what I can do to make sure that all of my routines and my habits remain without me having some sort of serious mental episode. Not that that happens to me, but I mean, I'm making a joke. But, you don't want things to degrade. And when I've found that in my life, when I've gone from periods of time where I'm lifting and I'm eating and I've been in dozens of them as we've gone over, I will incrementally do less and incrementally turn down my effort. And in the beginning, it feels deserved. In the beginning, it feels like something that was inevitable. And gradually over time, I realize that what I'm doing is I'm sort of slowly permitting my own failure. I don't use any special language when I allow this to happen. I'm not rationalizing in a vocal way. I'm not saying I deserve it. That's not a sentence I've ever said to myself ever. I'm not saying that I need to rest or I'm overworked. I've never said those things to myself ever. I simply slowly become less keen on the sensation that I need to do something and it needs to be done on time. And I just sort of loosen my grip. And the grip loosens and loosens and loosens until finally it's gone. And I refuse to look at it. And then yada, 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 you gain a ton of weight. Yada, 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 things get worse. So these are things I have to pay attention to. And it's something that it's a wisdom that comes with repeated failure, with incessant, constant years of failure, which isn't to say I've failed every year of my life. I mean, Jesus Christ, give me a fucking break here. But I've had enough failure to become keen on myself. Is today emblematic of this sensation? No, not necessarily. It's just something I have to be aware of. It's something I have to pay mind to. I notice it's one thing that's funny. I've been watching back some of my videos and I'm noticing all my tics. And what's interesting more than anything to me is that a lot of my vocal tics on video, saying things like certain sentence, certain terms, almost like I have catchphrases, they're things I never say in conversation. Isn't that kind of strange? There are things that I say in these videos that have become like tics of mine that I say so frequently. I'm sure if you've watched 3 videos, you've noticed them yourself. And I don't say those things in actual conversation with people to the same frequency. That's kind of strange, isn't it? Or maybe it's not. Maybe as soon as you sit down and you begin to speak like this. I mean, how often do you do this as a human being? Speak into a void, right? Because that's what I'm doing. I'm perceiving an imaginary audience, I suppose. But I'm noticing these tics. Like even saying, I don't do that. I almost never do that when I speak ordinarily. I can't stop. Along with other things, neither here nor there. I've said 150 times, it's like take a shot every time I say that. I caught myself almost saying that time. Is this riveting for you as an audience member? Again, this has been a bit of a low week, and I feel, quite a good deal of responsibility with these videos. So I oscillate. I realize I go up and down. There are times where I go, you really should do better. If you're going to make a video, it better be entertaining. It better be funny. People better have a reason to watch, and they better, in the first minute, they better want to stick around. And I have that voice. And then the other voice in me goes, hey, you make a video every day. Fuck them. They better like it or not. Like, what are you going to do? It flips between those two positions. And obviously nobody's making demands of me. It's just the internal voice, it's the internal argument. And you guess it's quite similar to voice. It's a similar thought as when you write, when you create art, when you work in any field. And I'm learning, I'm juggling these things. It's weird. I feel like I've done a million of these videos, but it's only been, a month and a half. So I'm very much so still learning, and I'm learning what works and what doesn't. And the hardest part for me right now is not being able to decipher how I can improve, because I'm very certain how I can improve these videos and make them significantly more perhaps popular or better. But it's learning to find the time to actually organize those thoughts and establish them in a line and execute them whilst making the video every day, right? It's not like I'm going, well, this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I'm fucking set. I got nothing to do, no videos, nothing on the plate. I can work on it. I don't have that. I still have to come up with tomorrow's video, right? In accordance to me, there may come a point where the capacity for me to make a video is a literal temporal impossibility due to the requirements of a single day. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. That's it for today. Low, chill, kind of a podcast one. I hope I'm in your ears sort of dancing around and you're listening to my voice, and this is all I've got for you. If you had a good week, if you had a rough week, if you're feeling disciplined, if you're feeling loose, take a deep breath, reassess yourself, ask yourself where you actually are a little tired and maybe need to take a deep breath, and ask yourself how full of shit you are too, and how much you just kind of feel like you're getting a little lazy. You're getting a little lazy. You did something for 50 days. That's a lot, right? You got to ask yourself those questions, and you got to be self-aware. The investigation into the motivation of a single individual never ends. Highly unpredictable, but extremely patterned. That is a human being, unfortunately. You never know what they're going to do, but they're likely to do the same thing over and over again. It's a conundrum. Have a good weekend, my friends. I will probably stream tomorrow. But the reason I haven't posted anything is because I just haven't had time to even think about it. But we will see. We will see. I will make a post one way or the other. I miss my stream friends, and I hope you come to the next one. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for hanging along, and I'll see you next time.